A News 13 investigation exposed a cheating scandal in a PD high school. Last May, we found a handful of failing test scores at Hannah-Pamplico High were changed to perfect grades just before summer school was to end. But tonight, we learned the number of grades tampered with is much greater. News 13's Matt Petrillo joins us live. Matt, what did you find?
We found the number of grades changed to passing scores reached triple digits. We received the school district's internal report right here after an open records request. It shows 114 grades were changed. It was July 2013 at Hannah-Pamplico High School when some summer school students say they were accused of pulling off an elaborate grade tampering scheme. News 13 obtained the school district's internal report on the grade tampering from the Citizens 2 Association after an open records request. The report shows 114 grades were changed for 7 students, labeled A to G. But News 13 found some questions in the report. A confidential source at the district provided us with these grade records. The grade records reveal more details into the grade tampering the district's report did not include, partially because the district's report was heavily redacted. For instance, the grade records show a student failed a test earning 4 points, but a few days later, that grade was bumped to 26 points, a perfect score. Another grade report shows a student failed earning 6 points, but again a few days later, that changed to another perfect score of 28 points.
It's just hard to believe that grade changing can happen in the school district.
The grade records also show the grade changing happened on the computer of one teacher.
You got to go to the restroom, and then, we don't know what happened after that point.
But the district's report tells a slightly different story. It says the grades, all 114 of them, were changed by 2 students when the teacher exited the room on several occasions. The high school principal's account may differ from the district's report, but here's what we do know. Someone entering 100+ grades in the matter of a couple-minute bathroom break wouldn't be easy.
That would be fairly difficult for a student to do so.
Sherry Helton teaches English in Florence School District 1 and has no affiliation with Florence School District 2. But both districts use Apex to store grades, and Helton is considered District 1's Apex specialist. Apex is a digital school curriculum. Teachers use it to maintain grades, and students use it to take tests. Helton says Apex also has tools to prevent students from tampering with grades.
If they failed a test or quiz, then they're stopped until they either remediate or they're given an opportunity to retest. And so a student cannot do anything to his own grades.
Even if a student somehow gets into a teacher's computer to change their grades, like what possibly happened at Hannah-Pamplico High, Apex can raise red flags to teachers.
We have alerts that are in place, and we can customize the alerts. Like if a student is failing tests, it will alert us if he's failed several in a row. It will also alert you if a student has had a perfect score on several in a row. It will give you that alert as well.
Florence 2's report on grade tampering doesn't say if any alerts went off. If it did, the school may have found out about the incident sooner. The report says the inconsistency in the Apex grades was not discovered until the teachers returned to school. In fact, the district didn't start an investigation until 2 weeks after the grade tampering happened. Meanwhile, one former Hannah-Pamplico educator says the district needs to build back the public's trust.
Every student's grades are now in question.
Those students were offered to retake the class, all passed.
Matt, you found grades were in fact tampered with, but was any disciplinary action taken because of it against the students or teacher?
Lauren, no. The district's report says it didn't have enough evidence to pin the blame on anyone.
Last May, a News 13 investigation exposed a grade tampering scandal that happened in Hannah-Pamplico High School. Since then, we have made more than a half-dozen interview requests with Superintendent Robert Sullivan. But Sullivan has refused to talk to us on camera until now. News 13's Matt Petrillo has more from Florence 2 headquarters. Matt?
We found questions in the school district's internal report on that grade tampering, but tonight he sat down with us to give us some of those answers. A News 13 investigation first exposed a handful of grades changed at Hannah-Pamplico High back in May. Then we found the number was much greater. 114 grades changed on the last day of summer school. So we sat down with Superintendent Robert Sullivan Wednesday to ask how it all happened.
Probably the how it took place is the fact that a computer was left unsupervised. And a district level and the outside consultant, it was never determined, it was inconclusive of who. If we knew who, or someone has that evidence that who it was, we'd love to have that.
So there was a computer left unsupervised, and there was a classroom left unsupervised.
As I've talked about there were several times during that 7.5-hour day as how there was ample opportunity to do that.
Is leaving classrooms unsupervised something that's done on a regular basis?
No, sir.
Could you explain why that happened then, I mean, the last day of summer school?
All I know is an inappropriate activity that took place that led down, and those are things that we had to correct going forward, and those have been corrected.
During the investigation, were any teachers on administrative leave?
You know, Matt, I've talked about this. I'm not going down the who. I have a job as superintendent.
I'm not asking the who, I'm just wondering if anyone was on administrative leave.
I have the rights of those individuals with personnel and those students to protect.
So here is what News 13 concludes about the grade tampering. 114 grades were changed. Some of those were failing grades that changed to perfect scores. It's unclear if anyone was placed on administrative leave during the district's grade tampering investigation. It's unclear who changed the grades. A classroom was left unsupervised multiple times throughout the last day of school, but the district did take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again, like requiring teachers and staff to lock computers if they need to step away from it. In Pamplico, Matt Petrillo, News 13.
Superintendent Sullivan told Matt he will step down when his contract ends next summer.